Over here looking at a pile of 15-inch mains. So they have a bell on one end, and each stick slides into itself as you lay them, one stick at a time. We dig those with the excavator. It's got a spoon, and by spoon it just leaves a rounded trough to set your pipe in. Today I'd like to pay tribute to a man that gave me a huge opportunity. Young guys, listen up. There's only a couple of guys in your life that will believe in your program. And when you find them, you do everything possible for them, do anything you can do to do right by them. Well, one of my main guys has passed away. And it's a tough one to take, but he'd want us to continue on. And these things wouldn't be possible without guys like that. So my advice would be, everywhere you're looking, you never know, there's an opportunity out there. This particular opportunity came to us, and I'm thankful for it. Came out to get our tile trailer. Got 4-inch tile where we were doing some repairs. And I'm gonna pull this trailer home before the ground thaws. Now this trailer raises on a cylinder right here. Gets down there. Okay. So that's gonna raise your spindle here. And it's going to stand this up, so the rolls we actually back into them and can pick them up with this trailer. Then they spin to unroll your tile. I believe there's 3,200 or 3,700 feet of tile on a roll of 4-inch, 6 inches smaller and 8 inches smaller, less footage, same size roll. Just want to be sure you get out, because it's hard to tell the height, so you can actually just back right into your nice painted bumper, and that would make for a bad day, right? We hit it on the first shot. We'll go for that. This trailer has a tendency to want to flip upward. Get this trailer out of the field before it gets soft. Just to keep it from coming out. As you can see there. Can't come out. Extra safety. Safety first. Now we'll go around secure to go down the road. Always look around, make sure it's not rubbing a tire. Of that nature. Generally can wrap it around itself. Now you never want to let an untied roll, so these come tied. You never let an untied roll have the top off. If it gets off your center, these all tangle up and you have 3,700 feet of knotted up tile. It's impossible to get it apart without cutting it in several spots. Just don't do it. We did it one time and we'll never do it again. Learn the hard way. You can kind of see what that would look like. So it comes off, and the inner part of that, don't have to tell you what that looks like. It gets bad. If we ever do it, I'll be sure to get it on video. You'll never believe what happened to me. So I'm using an editing app called Lightcut. I thought it saved my videos. Anyway, I had 4 videos full length done. It deleted them all. So that was kind of painful to go through this morning. Salvaged a few things, going to piece a few things back together, but unfortunately a lot of the footage I couldn't recover. Learning experience once again. Getting closer to home. The guys are taking our grain cart to put it up. We've got a remote built storage shed. They were working their way up there, waiting on some parts in the shop. Got that bearing torched off. And I burnt some of the poly pieces up and ripped a sensor off. Yeah, I was being a little too rough, or one of us was. I need to stone out here, and we plan to at some point. I've got to dig all this out down to hard pan. We'll hop out and talk tile. I'm going to tell you guys about this. So I dropped this tile trailer off. Take a look over here. I want to show you guys how this works. So we have different spools. And our roll of tile goes there. This core, they wrap the tile around it, as you can see in the background here. And here's one when I said tie it off. I've talked about that before. They tie these off. So we stab here with the trailer. It's got a short piece that sticks up. And we will actually pick this up. Now it will stay off, and we manually have to pick this up off of it. Then we can slide our piece off. After we have that done, we drive our trailer around and we literally back this right in the hole over there. We raise up enough that it slides on. We then put the top piece on. And remember, I talked about the top piece. It has to be on, or your roll can uncoil and it gets in knots. So here's one that we can look at right here. So there's your core. Not a big deal. It's not a very long roll, but you can see what happens when it gets off the core. So that's with just that little bit of pipe. You can visualize what this smaller pipe would do. Wife and son have brought me a green tea. Green tea keeps a BP happy. Thank you, wife. Thank you, son. So we store a lot of different things when you're doing your tiling. It's hard to have everything. We use these totes a lot. Try to keep outlet pipe around, things of that nature. This particular pipe here is 10-inch main pipe. Now we can plow that in with our tile plow. I am going to get this unhooked. So we'll get this trailer unhooked and we'll see what else we can get into. We'll walk on in the shop here. So we got a 2009 BBi Magna spreader. It's got the stainless steel web chain. This allows us to spread our own dry fertilizer. Bought this from our John Deere dealer, Reynolds. They had this as a trade-in. We added scales. So these we welded on. Not a very pretty weld, sorry. We don't do stainless every day. We also welded these on. These are your weigh pins. Now, why would you need scales on a spreader? With scales on the spreader, you can figure your rates. So our GPS will show us how many acres we've applied. You can see how many acres you've applied, and you can look at your scales and know how many pounds you've applied. and you can verify your rate that way. Everything we spread, spray, plant, anything, we're figuring rates, verifying rates. Your monitor says one thing, you always want to verify it yourself. So you got to know how to do that. Those are always learned the hard way. It had the flotation tires. I hope for the skid steer tires on one, but can't be picky. We spread lime with it as well. It works good for that. So yesterday, this bearing was on. Just like this is one that's on. There's a piece of poly that sandwiches behind there. Anyway, I was torching, which I should have set my phone, or set the camera, I didn't, but anyway, I torched that bearing right here. I torched right against the shaft without damaging it. Also inspected our key. Sometimes these things over torque and it'll distort the key, or it'll look like an offset key, and it doesn't look good, slid right out. We did break this sensor off. It was hooked right here, unfortunately. And we damaged this seal as we pulled it off the shaft. So I have our bearing. I have our piece of poly on order. Have our seal, as well as our sensor. Other maintenance on this, it's hydraulic drive. So your hydraulics run these spinners here, little motors, and it runs down your spinners. The lines are piped on the outside, makes it kind of nice. These rubber hoses that flex, they sometimes, oh, you'll bust one here or there, not terrible. Got a camera system so that we can see that it's coming out the back, because you do run into issues there. This has Trimble variable rate on it. We run off of the maps. Rogo Ag does 2-acre grids. Those are sent into A&L Labs. We get a soil analysis back, and that's plugged into our system, giving us variable rate maps. Certain areas need more fertilizer than others, and we account for that. We do 1 year removal on a fertilize on the corn side through the strip till bar, and we'll put a heavy 1 year amount through the strip. For us, being so variable with our soils, it helps having the 2-acre grids. We have many different soil types in each of our fields. Most guys do. Ours in particular, it's been nice. Helps us keep the pH in line, and without having your pH in line, use lime for that. Without having that in line, your fertility, all your fertilizer gets tied up, and all these things tie together. With the use of the precision ag technology that we have on everything anymore, love it and hate it at the same time. Overall, though, it is a good thing. We can track what our yields are, things like that. It's just easier to do. As I'm walking by here checking aeration out, seeing Jason Knopp actually help with this. So we wanted 8-inch unloads because we had 6s in concrete. He jackhammered an area out here, built it up, put these unloads in so we have power sweeps, and then faced them right here. We actually will use 2 8-inch at the same time, which makes this 44,000 bushel storage out of these 2 bins and fast unloading. Now he said he won't do that again. As you can see by the pour here, there was a lot of jackhammering. I really felt for the guys when that happened. Won't do that again, but it did get us by on these older bins, so we have power sweeps. Kind of have some updates.